Alright, in this video I'm going to cover how to do linearization. So what you need to know for our midterm, okay, you need to be able to match each of these graphs with its equation. Okay, so to do that, we want to look at how our y and our x are related. Okay. In this case, y increases much faster than x. A small change in x here creates a big change in y. Okay? So we know it's going to be y equals x squared. In this case, a small change in y creates a large change in x. So we have the opposite. Y squared equals x. We also have this one right here. Whereas x gets bigger, y gets smaller. And as y gets bigger, x gets smaller. So they're inversely proportional, right? Y equals 1 over x. So I have my equations right here. And I have them matched with the graph. So let's test it. If x equals 1, y equals 1. X equals 2, y equals 4. Alright? So x, a small change, 1 change in x, 1 change in units on x is 3 changes in y. Right? So y is going to increase much faster than x. Let's try it here. X equals 1, x equals 2. Let's not do 2. Let's do x equals 4, y equals 1, y equals 2. Okay? So a change of 3 units in x is a change of only 1 in y. Okay? So a change in y creates a much larger change in x. X equals 1, x equals 2, y equals 1, y equals 1/2. Okay, so once again with this, as your x gets bigger, your y gets smaller, and as your y gets bigger, as your y gets smaller, your x gets bigger. Okay, so now, if we wanted to actually graph any of these and make them linear, what we would do is you always graph the first variable versus the second. So in this first case, I'm going to graph y versus x squared to get a graph. In the second, I'm going to do y squared versus x. And then this last one, y and 1 over x. Now, say that instead of y and x, I had units. Say I had pressure and volume. Okay? So I go back up here and change these to pressure and volume. Okay, volume is measured in liters. Pressure will measure it in bars. Okay. Sorry, that's a little hard to read. Okay. So now we're still going to graph our axis y and x squared, but we actually put here and here, here and here. And what we use to fill in those lines are different. So y is the same, right? My y-axis here and my y-axis right here are the same. So I'm going to do P for pressure. It's measured in bars. Okay. My x-axis, that's what changed. I went from x to x squared. So what I'm actually going to do and then I'm going to graph volume squared and liters squared. Right? Remember that we have to square both volume and liters. That's important. Right? We can't just square the units, we have to square what we're measuring as well. In this case, right here in our middle case, say it was the same, I would have pressure squared in bars squared. And then our x stays the same. So it would just be volume in liters. Alright. In this case, it's going to be 1 over volume and 1 over liters. Okay? So whatever we do to our units, we have to also do to what we're measuring. Alright, and this is everything you need to know about linearization.